Welcome to Private Club Radio, the industry's first and only program dedicated to education, news, events, trends and announcements. Broadcasting from Tampa, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, here is your host, Gabriel Aloisi.
Happy to be with you once again here on Private Club Radio. Have an exciting show for you today. Our guest today is Diana DeLucia. She is the author and photographer of Golf Kitchen. It's a unique portfolio of recipes, photos, and interviews from kitchens and fairways of 16 illustrious golf destinations around the world. I've seen Diana on social media, and I thought, why not get her on Private Club Radio to talk about the book and about the community she is building over at golfkitchen.com. Before we bring Diana on, I have a special announcement for you. The second edition of the Private Club Radio webinar series is happening on January 4th, right after the new year. We'll have Michael Crandall on, and Michael will be discussing bright ideas to keep a successful club and career on track. Now, here's what you're going to get from this education session. You're going to come away with 18 quick concepts to remain relevant in today's club world. You'll find out the number one reason for unplanned general manager turnover and the number one reason club operations fail to meet expectations. Michael's going to tell you the only reason why your club will survive, the sole purpose of your club operations, the single most unrealistic thing commonly found in clubs, and much, much more. It is going to be an action-packed session from Michael. If you've never heard him speak, this is a great opportunity to see Michael live on the web. And Private Club Radio listeners for a limited time are going to receive $50 off the regular registration price. So instead of $125, this session will be $75 for Private Club Radio listeners who use the code PCR50. PCR, like Private Club Radio 50, to get your $50 off for a limited time. That is going to end on October 31st. So please sign up at privateclubradio.com/webinar. There's also some banners right there on the homepage to take you there. Use the code PCR50 to get that early bird discount, again for a limited time until October 31st. One other announcement to bring you. I am so excited to bring on the National Club Association as a sponsor and partner of the Private Club Radio show. If you don't know anything about the National Club Association, they're the guys in Washington, D.C. that are really going to bat for this industry. They're the ones lobbying on Capitol Hill for issues affecting private clubs here in the United States. We've had their CEO, Henry Wallmeyer, on the show. We've also had their chief lobbyist, Brad Steele, on this show. So go back and listen to those episodes if you haven't heard them to get a little taste of the National Club Association. But again, just super excited to have them join the show. They'll be bringing you a segment each and every month here on Private Club Radio to really take this show up a notch once again. We have some exciting things happening, having Concert Golf also become a partner last week. So this show is growing and expanding. We have also opened up our Private Club Radio Listeners Forum, which is a Facebook group. Just search Private Club Radio on Facebook to join in. We're going to be having some discussions, some idea sharing. We'll be talking about the show and some lessons that we've learned here each week. And just a way for you to connect and network as well with some of your colleagues from not only the United States, but even from around the world. So check it out. Go to Facebook, look for Private Club Radio. The group will pop up there and you can ask to join. Diana is up next right after these messages.
Why do over 60% of Boardroom Magazine's distinguished clubs choose to partner with Club Essential? The better question is, why not? As the leading provider of club management and marketing software to over 1,400 private clubs, our unified suite of modules are designed to automate club operations while informing and engaging members. From websites to accounting and POS to CRM, online reservations, and mobile apps, Club Essential has all of your club's technology needs covered. Visit clubessential.com to learn how our experienced team can help your club. Again, that's clubessential.com.
Hello there. I have a question for you. How impressed are members with the cleanliness of your club? To attract new members and keep current ones happy, your club must provide the best cleaning and maintenance service possible. Elegance Cleaning Service specializes in country club cleaning.
We'll create a custom cleaning program where members can see and actually feel the difference. Don't accept par for the course at your club. Visit clubelegance.net and step up your cleaning game today.
I'm pleased to welcome Diana DeLucia. She's an Australian author and photographer who resides in Avon, Connecticut. She became well known during her years in the food industry, photographing famous chefs and their culinary creations for Restaurant Insider magazine. During her career, she has worked with many well-known chefs and restaurateurs, including Sirio Macchioni, Lydia Bastianich, Daniel Boulou, and Thomas Keller. Diana took a different direction in 2010 with the production of her first book, Golf Club World. After her first self-publishing effort, she realized that her dream was to continue to uncover talented chefs in areas that were previously not illuminated. Golf Kitchen has taken Diana across the globe once again, this time to gather over 38 interviews, more than 90 recipes, and photography from 16 illustrious golf club and resort destinations. I invite you to check out golfkitchen.com and learn more about Diana and her exciting project. Diana, welcome to Private Club Radio. So good to have you.
Nice to be here.
So I have a first question for you. How did this book come about? Can you give us a little history on Golf Kitchen?
I started production of Golf Kitchen in 2014. So it's taken 2 years to get to the final product. As you read in your introduction, I really wanted to illuminate chefs in other areas other than, mainstream restaurants and things like that. So I started my journey looking for the best chefs I could find in the best golf clubs in the world. So I started my journey at Winged Foot Golf Club in Mamaroneck, New York, with the help of Colin Burns, the general manager, and executive chef Rye Waddington, who were extremely supportive and motivating. And I kind of took it from there.
Do you consider yourself a foodie, or are you an amateur chef yourself? How did you decide that the culinary path was the one to take with this next book?
Well, I'm a food photographer by trade. I really love food photography. I'm not a chef. I cook a little bit, when I really have time or I have people over for dinner or something like that. But I'm not a great chef. I wouldn't say that I am, nor am I a great golfer. But I do love to make chefs' artwork. I call their food art because they really do put a lot of effort into their careers, and I like to present them in the finest light that I can.
I bet you're picking up a few things while you're in all these kitchens, though. Are you stealing any of these recipes or anything?
No, I just steal all the truffles.
There you go. I like that. So we know the culinary landscape is evolving in golf and country clubs around the world. What are some of those mitigating factors that are driving that change?
Say about 2010, I really started to see this movement in golf. And I traveled around and I was asking, just people in the media or magazine people. And at that time, they weren't terribly interested in the food in the golf. But I knew from working on Golf Club World, traveling globally, I knew that was not, in fact, a fact, because I had already uncovered 12 golf clubs globally that were really progressive in their culinary programs. And now, as a result, I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and I wanted to really create a brand that would cover and feature golf kitchens around the world and showcase their talent. And I really believe that the upscale golf clubs and upscale golf resorts are really, really, they're making every effort to make sure their culinary teams are incredibly great for their members. And what I'm hearing from everyone is that their members can eat at any restaurant they would like to eat at.
Right.
So they better have a good restaurant and a good chef team and culinary team on site.
That's absolutely correct. And I think a lot of that probably has to do with, golf is, and a lot of people will say is somewhat on the decline, and clubs are really having to reinvent themselves and look for other ways to engage their membership. And I think a culinary team and doing something spectacular out of the kitchen is one way to do that for sure.
I agree. Yeah, I remember speaking to someone at PGA magazine at the PGA show, and I had said to him, this was maybe 2011, 12, something like that, and I had said to him, and I won't quote who it was, I had said to him that the way to get people to play golf is not by preaching to the choir. They already play golf.
Right.
You have to go outside of golf to get people to play golf. And one of those ways is to bring people in through the culinary art.
I love that.
And they come in and they eat, and then they might play golf.
There you go. Yeah, when they're dining at the restaurant overlooking the beautiful fairways and greens and the landscape out there, that might get them attracted to actually pick up the game.
Correct, yeah. Plus, I'd rather join a golf club. I'm maybe not talking so upscale like a Wingfoot, but if you take it down to the middle of the road golf club, that's something that can really make a difference.
Exactly. It sure can, because it's the one differentiating factor that you might have.
Yeah, and a lot of people complain about the food at the club, so they go to the club and then they have to go somewhere else to eat.
Yeah, it's better to keep your customers there and delighted than to having to keep continually trying to attract them back, right?
Yeah, and with food being such a conversation topic in the current climate, it's good for the members to be able to have a great team that they can talk about at their club as well. It makes them feel good about their club. Yeah,
that's absolutely right. What are some of the emerging trends that you're seeing coming out of some of these golf kitchens?
I would say every golf club kind of has, depending on their culinary team, mainly they're regional based, and a lot of them are really embracing the farm to table scenario. So I'm seeing a lot of golf clubs now even having farms on the property, for example, or in Southampton they have their own beehive and their own chickens.
Wow.
And it's quite amazing, really, what's going on.
Who are they putting in charge of collecting the bees, I wonder? Is there a committee for that?
I'd imagine it would be the superintendent.
Probably, yeah. I wouldn't want to be that guy, though.
Well, it's kind of cool because they produce all their own honey.
Oh, that's very cool.
And then their members get fresh eggs every day.
Right. All right. I was in Nantucket, and some of the things that they were doing at the Westmore Club, which we profiled here on the show, they have their own charter fishing vessel. They take members and guests out on, and they'll actually take some of the catch back right into the kitchen. I thought that was super cool. The other thing they had just started was an herb garden outside their club, and I thought that was a nice concept. They didn't have a ton of property, but they could at least put the basil on the pasta dishes, or some of the other seasonings that came right from their garden. I think that's kind of stuff is really great. Anything else you're seeing happening?
I'm seeing some molecular cooking arise at a lot of the golf clubs.
All right, explain what that is to listeners. What is that? What is molecular cooking?
Molecular cooking is it's a form of cooking that's very scientific, and it uses physics and chemistry to kind of alter the taste of food and create new tastes and new flavors. That's how I understand it. And I'm not a chef, but I have seen octopus being tenderized in washing machines, and I have seen some crazy cooking that, like, they'll freeze dry things. They'll make their own caviar that's not really caviar out of. In fact, in the book, there's a recipe that calls for grapefruit caviar, and it's quite an interesting way. They use molecular cooking to create caviar that's not actually caviar. And when you taste it, it's like a little explosion of grapefruit in your mouth.
So I imagine these mad scientists in lab coats back there in the kitchen. Is that what it's like?
Some of them, yes. Some of them can be like that. Particularly, I think there's like Grant Katz in Chicago from Alinea. He has like a 20-course tasting menu. Most of that's all molecular cooking. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, take us through some of these clubs that you feature in the book. Are there any real standouts from the book that people will enjoy reading when it comes out next month?
They're all standouts. One of the stories I like is the story of a chef called Jose Sanchez out of Tradition Golf Club in La Quinta, California.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just quite an entertaining chef. He's got an amazing way of producing Mexican food that you want to cook these recipes. They're very upscale Mexican. His mum taught him how to make everything by hand. There's nothing from the store. Everything he has is from the farm. He checks everything he purchases. He makes sure everything's raised the right way, and his food's stunning. And he's also a scratch golfer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the members kind of support his golf game as well as him being their executive chef.
Sure. So you've actually traveled the world. In addition to Jose there, what other places did you go on this journey as you were collecting stories?
Well, the U.S. clubs, I went from Wingfoot in Mamaroneck, New York, to Bay Hill in Florida, Old Waverly in Mississippi, Kiowa Island Club, where I feature Cacique. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I really tried to find different regions in the country so that the food and the recipes would be different, with the regions. And then I took it over to Vietnam, Australia, Ritz-Carlton, Dorado Beach in Puerto Rico, Casa de Campo, and Valderrama. So one of my favorites is Morocco. The cuisine in Morocco is very, very different, and it's one of my favorite places to go.
Yes, I've been to Morocco. I had probably the best olive oil of my life in Morocco. I took a few bottles home, and I just ran out pretty recently, and so I was kind of bummed. But there is some pretty incredible, not only really fine dining, but even just going into the bazaars and the markets there. It's a culinary adventure for sure.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Marrakesh is just amazing. I actually was very fortunate to be invited to do a cooking lesson in a place called the Riyadh Kaniza in the Marrakesh market. And it's like a kind of in the middle of the market, and it's like a really upscale hotel. And
right.
And I went into this one, and the chef, I did a whole cooking lesson. We went shopping in the markets, and then we cooked everything, and then they put it all in front of me to eat. So I kind of made my own dinner.
Very cool. I like that a lot.
It was amazing.
I got lost in that market. My wife and I, it's this, if you've never been to this place in Marrakesh, I think it's the largest outdoor market in the world, in fact. And yeah, part of the experience is getting lost because, you go from stall to stall, and everything looks alike after a while. And we were literally in there for like 4 hours trying to get out. It's a pretty wild place. I
felt like I was walking in the Bible. That's what I felt like.
Yeah, they have snake charmers. There's monkeys. There's all kinds of things happening. Leather stores, and it's pretty wild. So, bringing it back into the club world, I think a culinary team is a great way to do what I call dark marketing. So most clubs, as you know, have some restrictions on outside marketing or that they can't advertise. But I think showcasing award-winning chefs and entering local contests with those culinary teams are a great way to get the club's name out there. Have you seen any standout examples along your travels of clubs doing something similar to this?
Not so far, but I intend to build that. As you know, our book launch for Golf Kitchen is at Wingfoot Golf Club in Mamaroneck, New York, and I have 4 golf club chef teams cooking dinner that evening. We have Emirates Golf Club at Dubai Golf. Mm-hmm. They're flying over. There's 2 chefs coming from there, and we have the Wingfoot team, the Cacique at Kiowa Island Club team, and the Sabonic team from Southampton, and we're going to put on a great dinner for the members and guests and James Beard Foundation members. I
love that. How do folks actually register for an event like that?
Well, I'm pretty sure the tickets are almost sold out. There's only some media-related tickets left, and it's really a members guest. There was a certain percentage for the general population, and it's almost sold out.
Well, that's a tribute to what you're doing. Obviously, this is a hot topic and something that people want to experience.
Well, we already have, because it's a Friends of James Beard Foundation dinner, we're raising money for the James Beard Foundation. It's really exciting. We have a great auction, a live auction happening, and that is Grandstand Sport. and they're going to have some great memorabilia, some great dinners to auction off with some famous chefs, and a lot of other goodies that I'm sure that the members and guests of the night will really appreciate.
I like that. I'd love to attend a party like that. I don't know if I'll be able to make it to that one, but I know you're doing some of these as well around the country and some other locations. So I hope I can get out to one.
We're planning one at Cacique at QR Island Club.
Very nice.
So we'll be bringing chefs down there to cook down there, and we'll just continue and see how it grows and develops.
So again, I invite listeners to check out golfkitchen.com to see all the events and things that are happening around there. Now, you mentioned the James Beard Foundation, and I have a question for you. You know, James Beard Award, if our listeners aren't aware, of course, is a really high culinary award. There's other things like Michelin stars and things like that. Are there any culinary teams or chefs out there that you're seeing getting some of these awards? I know clubs aren't necessarily always in the media spotlight, and you're changing that, but have you seen anything out there like that?
Well, it's my goal to do such a thing with Golf Kitchen, but I also did speak to the James Beard Foundation about having such a category for golf club restaurants and club restaurants. And they thought that it was very interesting. So I do believe you need a sponsor for that category, though. So I'm looking into that right now.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that would be a really fantastic thing to showcase, because there's so much talent in these kitchens across the country and across the world, as you're illuminating, and not a lot of people know that they're out there. And so I'm really...
Well, that's the direction that I hope to take Golf Kitchen in.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. You're developing an active online community. Can you tell folks what's happening on your site, why and how they should get involved?
Well, we're building our global community, Golf Kitchen. We're building a social media campaign. We're trying to, we have a lot of things that we want to create in the future. So the site will just continue to get built out and get bigger and bigger. We'll add more categories. Like one of the categories we would like to add is the executive suite. So we'd like to feature CEOs and owners and, the not so much the general managers. They would have their own category and things like that to really showcase food and beverage managers, maybe, to really talk about everything food in golf and clubs.
Fantastic. And
as well as have the recipes and things like that.
Right. Is there any sort of portal or anything that folks can sign up to get exclusive features or anything like that you have planned? I think we have a newsletter that goes out every week or every few weeks. You can sign up at golfkitchen.com and join our Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Yeah, you're very active. I follow you on, I think, Twitter and in LinkedIn, and you're always posting delicious things that has my mouth watering. So I absolutely invite our listeners to take a look at your social media feeds. Doing great stuff there. Yeah,
we have a great social media team.
And the photographs that you take are exceptional, would be an understatement. So I definitely invite folks to check out this book. It sounds like it's going to be something well worth having on a coffee table near you soon. Diana, before I let you go, I just have a couple of quick questions for you. The first one is kind of a funny one, and hopefully you don't take this the wrong way, but let's say you were on death row and you had to order your last meal. What would you order, Diana?
I would order the tasting menu at Le Bernardin. I would order Eric Leper's tasting menu with the full wine pairing. It's one of the best seafood restaurants in the world. What
kind of items would be on that tasting menu that you've experienced?
Everything seafood. He's a seafood expert. So he might have, he's going to have the best fish. He's going to have the best langoustine, lobster, whatever he would create for you on the night. There's not really such a thing as a set menu at Le Bernardin. I would have the chef cook it for me, and he could decide whatever he wanted to cook.
I love it. I knew you'd have a good answer to that question. The last question here, I call it the bucket list. I ask all the guests on the show if there was one club experience that you had to see or do before you died. What would it be for you, Diana?
I think a golf and culinary tour of Morocco should be on every every foodie and golfer's list. It really opens your eyes to the golf world and the food world in Morocco, and I think it's a very educational country to visit.
Yeah. I would have to agree. I went to Morocco, like I mentioned, but didn't get to play any golf there. But I think that would be quite the adventure for sure. I hear that they're doing some pretty interesting things there at private clubs.
Very, very progressive country. Very progressive. Very, very, very modern. Very kind people. I can't say enough about Morocco. I love everything about the country, and I plan to write a cookbook there in May, June of 2017.
I would buy that book. That sounds excellent because, again, they have some really just interesting tastes and things that you can't experience in very many places there. And really, the tagines, I think that's one of their specialties, where they're these. Can you sort of explain what a tagine is?
Well, it's just like a big clay pot, really. And they cook their chicken. They slow cook it. They use so many spices, and I mean, when I had the cooking lesson, we made tangine chicken. There must have been, 30 ingredients. So you would have to prep everything fresh, chop every single herb. Everything would be very, it's really preparation based.
Right.
And then everything goes into the pot, and then they slow cook it, really.
Yeah. It comes out with this kind of really nice sort of, I wouldn't call it smoky, but it's a fiery flavor. It's very nice. I love.
And I'm not a chef, by the way, so don't quote me on all of that.
I think you did a good job explaining that. Diana, how do folks pre-order the book or learn more about you?
You can pre-order the book at golfkitchen.com, and if you want me to sign it, any of the pre-orders will be signed by me. And if you want to wait until it's on the market, it will still be on the website, and it will also be available on Amazon.
And when is the launch date for the book again?
The official launch date is November 10th at the James Beard Foundation dinner at Wingfoot Golf Club in Mamaroneck. And after that, the books will be available hopefully before Christmas. They should be available for Christmas delivery. We're hoping they arrive in the country mid-December.
Well, good luck on the book launch. I can't wait for it to come out and get my own copy myself. Thanks so much for joining us on Private Club Radio, Diana.
Thanks very much, Gabe. It was great to speak to you.
Great to have Diana on there. Definitely recommend you check out golfkitchen.com. And I noticed on there when I was on her website that you can pre-order her book right now for only $80. It's a 20% discount off the regular price there. And check it out. She has a pretty vibrant community that's happening, golfkitchen.com. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Private Club Radio. Once again, want to remind you to join the Facebook group. Just search for Private Club Radio on Facebook, and you will see our listeners forum pop up. Ask to join, and we will let you in. And lastly, don't forget to go to privateclubradio.com/millennials and sign up for the January 4th webinar with Michael Crandall for club managers. Both mid-managers and club managers, COOs, will get a ton of value from that session. Don't forget to use that code PCR50. Until next week, here's to your membership success.
Just because this round is over doesn't mean you can't enjoy the 19th hole. Check out privateclubradio.com for more. Private Club Radio is brought to you by the Private Club Agency, the premier marketing and consulting firm dedicated to helping clubs increase and retain their membership. Visit privateclubagency.com to learn more.